welcome back to my channel, and today is going to be another lovely and amazing day. And today I want to talk about how childhood traumas affect our adult life. There's a lot of people out there that don't know why they act a certain way or who they are in life. They have identity confusion, or they don't know why they suffer the way they are suffering at the moment in their adult life. I want to share this so that you can understand yourself and so that you can also change yourself. We don't choose our parents who we are born with, right? But we can still rewire our brain, and we have a choice to change our lives for the better. The only thing that sucks about childhood trauma is that you pretty much have to reparent yourself. You pretty much have to change your lifestyle and change for the better. The other thing that sucks about your childhood trauma is there's a lot of people out there suffering right now in their adult life. They grew up without help. They grew up without guidance. And that's the only thing that I hate about it, because I've been through all of these. And it's not good, because I grew up not knowing who I was, my identity. I didn't know why I act a certain way, because nobody taught me. Nobody told me all these things that I'm about to share with you guys. And I just want to say that childhood traumas is not your fault, okay? It's how some people were raised when they were young. People that were raised in a stable house, they grew up stable in their life. They grew up with value in their life, right? And people who are raised in a house that is abusive, how do you think that child would come out, right? So that's why I don't want you to blame yourself of how you are the way you are, because it's not your fault. Also, I want to share this so other people can be more understanding to others, because a lot of people out there, they think that, oh, you grew up, you're a bad person, you're this and that, when actually they're not. They just grew up the way they were, and nobody is teaching them how to change, or no one is helping them with their life, you know. So I want everyone to be aware of how they are to these people, to all of us, not just to these people, but be aware and be understanding to others and be loving to others. So instead of saying like, oh, you're such a bad person, oh, you're a promiscuous person, or dude, that person is this and that, instead of saying all those things, why can't you change your words to something positive? Maybe get to know that person. Maybe ask them their childhood. Once you get close to that person, of course, you cannot just say like, oh, how's your childhood, right when you met him or her, right? So it's not like that. But what I'm trying to say is be more understanding to all of the people around you. So that's why I want to share this message. And there's a good news about this message. The good news is that you can still change your life through Jesus Christ. Jesus changed my life. If without him, I would have been in such bad situation in life, or I would have been dead already if without him, you know. So he was looking out for me this whole time, and I'm very grateful, and that's why I really love Jesus, and that's why I want to share this message, because I want you to go to him as well so you can fully change your life. First off, I want to talk about my past. Talking about my past is not easy. I grew up without my parents. I grew up in the Philippines, and I grew up with my mom's side of my family. And growing up was very hard for me, and it was very, very bad. That's why I came out the way I came out. Sometimes I go to school with bruises or scratches on my face. I feel like it's hard to talk about this, because I don't want to come out like I'm against the people who raised me, because I'm not. I forgive them fully. I forgive myself fully, but it's just hard for me to talk about my past in videos and with you guys, sharing it to you guys. But pretty much I feel like I was abused physically and mentally. Physically is because sometimes, yeah, I go to work, to school, like I said earlier, with scratches on my face, or when we were punished because we were bad or we did something wrong, then we get like pretty much physically hurt by the people around us. Sometimes I have to excuse me. So what was I saying? Physically, because yeah, when we get punished, we either get physically hurt or we have to physically hurt ourselves. Like sometimes there's a point where I have to hit myself, my head on the wall, because if I don't do that to myself, if I don't self-inflict myself, then they would hurt me instead. Or that's why, yeah, like I said earlier, I don't know how many times I said it, but I go to school with scratches on my face. I get dragged on the stairs if I don't clean the house, or all of these things, right? Those are physical. And emotionally abused, that's why I feel like I was emotionally abused, is because I was not able to express how I feel. Sorry guys, I have to grab her because she started crying, and it's really hard to make these videos because I have a newborn and I have a toddler, so I have to work with what I got right now. And so I have to hold her, and she's gonna be with us in this video. Okay, so what was I saying? So mentally abused, I feel like I was mentally abused because of the words I hear and told when I was young, that I'm this, and that I'm a prostitute, or I'm a slut, or I'm never gonna graduate high school. Like those words are mentally abusing a child. You know what I mean? And it will affect them their whole life. And my emotions were suppressed. I can't tell them how I feel, because if I argue with them, it's me that is at fault. If I started arguing with them, it's me who has a problem. There's no bad or good child. It's a parenting. Do you know what I mean? It's how you raise your child. It's how they will act. So that's why I acted that way. But then my whole life I was taught that it was me that is a bad person. It's me that has a problem. So those are the things that hurt me and put trauma in my life. So that's why I acted the way I did. But the thing is, you cannot blame your past either, because you can still change, right? So I'm not blaming my past. I'm glad that everything in the past is in the past now, and it happened, so it changed me as a better person. So I'm not using that against, like saying like, oh, it's because of my past, so I can be this way. No, I'm not saying that. So you cannot be that way either. So those are the things that put trauma in my life, in my adult life. And it was really tough, and it was really hard for me. So I'm not going to talk about my whole past in this video, because it will take days before I finish. So let's not go through that. And I don't think you want to hear all my sob stories in the video, right? So secondly, I want to talk about how childhood trauma affect my adult life. Number one, I find myself in toxic relationships. Growing up without my parents, without a dad, especially in your life, without a man that you can look up for, will already put a trauma in your life, in your adult life. You find yourself, or I find myself in a toxic relationship because I'm looking for that love, for that safety. That's why I was needy. That's why you become needy, and you look for guys that will satisfy or makes you feel complete. And sometimes people that were abused while they were young, or have trauma while they were young, when they grow up, they look for bad boys, because they think like, oh, they can protect you, that you feel safe with them. But it's not true. And you didn't know that. You're not conscious with your choices in life because of the trauma you had, and you don't know that all these things that you are, or why you're going through that path and why your choices are bad, is because of your childhood. You didn't know that. And because nobody is guiding you in life, nobody's helping you to see who you really are, to find who you really are. So that's why I look for all this toxic relationship. I tend to cling on my relationships with these guys, right? Because I'm looking for love. I want it to be always just me. And when you grow up and you be in a toxic relationship, you don't know what real love is. You get blinded by that. So when you finally find that person or that family that shows you love, you'll feel like, oh, that is new to you. Like, I felt that with my husband's family because of how forgiving they are. They forgive me when I made a mistake like nothing, and they show me love like nothing. They'll tell you that they love you even though they don't even know me, and we were just boyfriend and girlfriend, and they tell me, or they tell Kevin, oh, I love you, this and that. They show their love by action, and I was new to that. I didn't know what love is, and I was embarrassed, or I was shy, and I didn't want to accept it. You know what I mean? You don't want to accept the truth of what love is because of the toxic past you've experienced in life. So you don't know, you end up not knowing what true love is, and you end up hiding everything, all your emotions, all your love deep inside your heart. Next is passive aggressive behavior. So while I was growing up, straightforward communication was avoided. So what happened is, once you avoid those straightforward communication, what happened to a child? You become close-minded. You have fear with intimacy. You make excuses, and you blame others for your mistakes, and you hide your anger. And that's what I experienced as well. I hide my anger. I hold grudge because I cannot express my feelings, because while we were young, or while I was young, like, communication was horrible. Communication wasn't there. So these things affect my adult life as well. So third is negative self-talk. So while I was young, when I was young, I was mentally abused, like I said earlier. So the effect of that in my adult life is I blame myself as well, and I think that everything about me is negative. So what happens is that I pretty much go into a negative self-talk. I always tell myself, like, I'm this and that. I'm sorry, excuse me. Sorry guys for the distraction. So what was I saying is that I tell myself, like, oh, I'm this, I'm bad person, I'm nothing, or I can't do anything good, because I blame myself and I think that nothing is good about me. Okay guys, I'm back. I'm sorry, I have to feed the little one. Okay, so let's move on from the self-negative talk to emotional roller coaster. Ooh, I don't even know where to start, because even now, sometimes I still have that problem, It doesn't go away just like that. The only difference is that I'm aware of it, and so I can stop myself, right? So with my emotional roller coaster is I have a problem with my temper. I get angry like no other. You cannot even stop me. That's the scary part about it, because like sometimes I'm just like, ooh, like blackout. Like it's just crazy. Like my anger goes like really, really bad. Like no one can stop it. That's how bad my anger is. And sometimes, especially with my words, I hurt people with my words that will cut deep down inside of their heart, and it's really sad, and I'm really it's really bad. And sometimes I become depressed, or sometimes all of a sudden I'm happy, or stuff like that. Those are the emotional roller coaster that I suffer from my childhood trauma. And fifth is that I didn't know who I am. When you have childhood trauma, you suffer from your identity. You don't know who you are. And I had that issue as well. And it was really hard for me to find myself. I didn't know who I was and how I should be or how I should act. And I was so immature and stuff like that, So those are the things, my side effects. And a lot of people also suffer with all the things I mentioned. And some people cannot even get back on their feet, That's why you see other people out there so mean, or people out there that thinks that they know it all because of what they've been through in the past. So those are just the side effects why they act the way they do. And that's why we need to be aware of this, and so we can be more understanding. And so for people that suffer from their childhood trauma, so they can know and be aware of how they are, how they're acting, so they can change that. So next, I want to talk about how you can rewire your brain and how you can change. So first is God. Since I was little, I was born Catholic, like I said with my other video, our testimony. And I've never really had a relationship with him, but I always pray at night, or I always ask him for help when I'm feeling sad, or I cry to him all the time. So I feel like that's why he was there with me the whole time while growing up. And he changed me. He's the only one that can change you, that can rewire your brain, because his words tells you who you are, right? So that's how I was changed, is because of his words and how he was to me and how he loved me. So the number one that can change you is God. And second is forgiveness. Forgive yourself first, especially yourself, because this is not your fault. Okay? The side effects of this trauma in your life, in your adult life, is not your fault. So forgive yourself and don't blame yourself. And second, forgive the people who have hurt you. I know it is hard to forgive someone or the people who hurt you, especially the people that you think that should have been there for you, to love and care for you. But if you don't forgive them, if you don't forgive yourself, you cannot move on. You know, you will always hold on to that feeling. You will always hold on, like you will always have a grudge towards them. So you cannot move on if you don't forgive. And next is letting go. Letting go of your past. You have to let go of your past to move on. Don't come back to it. Like, there's times that you will be laying in bed, and then next thing you know, you'll be thinking about your past, right? But that's the devil talking to you, reminding you of your past that hurt you. So you can be depressed, so you can be angry again. So don't go back on your past. Your past is your past, okay? So let go of it so you can move forward. Next, knowing your value. I talk about knowing your worth and your value in my other video. I will link it up there so you guys can see that, so you can find what's your worth and what's your value. So that's the one thing that changed me, is knowing my value and my worth, and that's through Jesus Christ as well. So knowing your value, knowing your worth can change your life, and it can change the way you look at yourself. The last one that really changed me as well is because I see these other people that grew up in a nice, stable household with good parenting, and I wanted that for my children, and I wanted that for myself as well. So that's why I changed, is because I aimed for a change. I didn't want to go through life suffering from my past. And so I really told myself that I want to change. I want to change my lifestyle, and I want to change my life and my kids, my future kids. So those are the things that made me change for the better. And I hope that that would also give you hope, because in life you'll always have hope. And my message for all the parents out there is, try to not put traumas on your kids. Understand their feelings, and be more conscious as a parent how you treat them and how you talk to them, so that they can grow without trauma, or at least lesser trauma in their life when they become older. So in the next video, me and my husband will be talking about how we want to raise our kids, the things that we want to teach them while growing up, so that when they're in their adult life, they don't have to reparent themselves or to rewire their brain as much as what we've been through. So if you guys want to see the next video, don't forget to subscribe and click that bell notification so you'll get all the latest video right in your inbox. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching this video until the end, and thank you for liking and for sharing my videos. And if you guys have anything else that you guys want me to share with you guys, don't forget to leave the comment down below and tell me how much you love the video. Thank you so much. Say bye, baby. We love you. Thank you, and have a blessed day.